Officer, what violation did I commit? The flashlight beam slammed into her face. Officer Derek Thompson sneered. You being in this neighborhood is the violation, sweetheart. People like you don't drive cars like this unless you stole it. His partner Ryan laughed. Probably shopping for houses to rob. Derek leaned closer. Step out, now. Not without legal justification. Neighbors emerged onto porches. Phones rose, recording, whispering. No one intervened. Derek's hand shot through the window, his fingers wrapped around her throat. But he didn't know. In 1 hour, he'd be the one begging. In 1 hour, his badge would be stripped away, and it would all be his own fault. What happened next would destroy a man who thought his badge made him untouchable. 12 hours earlier, Dr. Naomi Ellison stood at her bathroom mirror, fastening pearl earrings. Steam from the shower still clung to the glass. The scent of coffee drifted up from the kitchen below. Her husband James appeared in the doorway, already dressed in his charcoal suit. District Attorney, 15 years on the job. He held 2 mugs, offering her one. Big day? She asked, taking the coffee. The ceramic was warm against her palms. Corruption case. 3 officers taking bribes from drug dealers. James sipped his coffee. Should have worn body cams. Idiots filmed themselves. Naomi smiled. You always bring work to breakfast. Says the surgeon who practices sutures on fruit. He kissed her forehead. I'll be late tonight. This case is bigger than we thought. She watched him leave, his footsteps echoing down the hardwood stairs. They'd built this life together. Howard University sweethearts. 2 kids from nothing who refused to accept less than everything. The drive to Metropolitan Children's Hospital took 30 minutes. Naomi's Mercedes glided through tree-lined streets. Her favorite jazz played low. She'd bought this car herself. Every payment was hers. Every mile was earned. At the hospital, the pediatric wing buzzed with controlled chaos. Nurses called out vitals. Machines beeped rhythmic warnings. The antiseptic smell was so familiar it felt like home. Dr. Ellison! A young resident rushed over, tablet in hand. The Sanders case. 8-year-old with bowel obstruction. Naomi scrubbed in, the water scalding hot against her brown skin. Through the observation window, parents waited. Hoping. Praying. She carried their hope into every surgery. 4 hours later, she emerged. The surgery was successful. The parents cried. Naomi's shoulders finally relaxed. In her office, she collapsed into her chair. The leather was cool. Outside her window, the city stretched endlessly. She'd climbed so far. Ivy League education, chief of pediatric surgery at 42, awards lining her walls. But it was never enough for some people. Last week, a patient's grandmother had asked when the real doctor would arrive. The white intern behind Naomi got apologized to instead. Her colleague, Dr. Stevens, knocked and entered. White, male, 5 years her junior. Naomi, brilliant work today. Thanks, David. Are you presenting at the conference next week? Healthcare disparities? She nodded. The invitation had come after 3 years of asking. They wanted her voice now. Diversity panels were trendy. Evening came. Naomi changed from scrubs into comfortable clothes. Her shift had stretched to 14 hours. An emergency consult. A frightened teenager with appendicitis. She couldn't leave until the girl was stable. The parking garage was nearly empty. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Her heels clicked against concrete. The Mercedes chirped as she unlocked it. She slid into the driver's seat. Leather embraced her tired body. The engine purred to life. Jazz filled the cabin again. Miles Davis. Smooth, soothing. Her phone buzzed. James. Hey, honey. His voice sounded strained. I'll be even later than I thought. This case, there's a whole network. Dirty cops protecting each other. Be careful. Always am. He paused. Love you. Love you too. She drove through the suburbs. Streetlights cast orange pools on empty sidewalks. Her neighborhood was quiet, safe, expensive. They'd earned this zip code. 3 blocks from home, she noticed the patrol car. It rolled slowly behind her. Naomi checked her speedometer. 32 in a 35 zone. Her hands moved to 10 and 2 on the wheel. The cruiser followed for 1 block. 2 blocks. 3 blocks. Then the lights exploded behind her. Red and blue strobed across her rear-view mirror. Naomi's stomach tightened. She signaled. Pulled over carefully. Hands visible. Engine off. Windows down. Every movement is deliberate. She'd done this before. Every black person had. The talk. The rules. Comply. Don't move suddenly. Don't reach. Don't give them a reason. She activated her phone's voice recording. Discreetly. Hidden in the cup holder. Footsteps approached. Heavy boots on asphalt. The flashlight came first. Blinding. Aggressive. Then his voice. License and registration. Naomi kept her voice steady. Professional. Calm. Officer, what violation did I commit? And that's when everything changed. Officer Derek Thompson's face filled her window. White. Mid-30s. Jaw tight with irritation. His nameplate glinted under the streetlight. I asked for your license. Naomi reached slowly toward her purse. May I ask what traffic violation? Just hand it over. Her fingers moved deliberately. No sudden movements. She'd learned this lesson watching her father get pulled over when she was 8. Hands visible. Voice calm. Survive. She passed him her license and registration. Derek studied them under his flashlight. His eyes moved from the photo to her face. Back to the photo. He smirked. Dr. Naomi Ellison. He dragged out each syllable mockingly. What kind of doctor? I'm a pediatric surgeon at Metropolitan Children's. He laughed. Short, sharp, cruel. Right, and I'm an astronaut. He turned the license over. Is this even real? Yes, officer. It's real. Uh-huh. Derek walked slowly around her Mercedes. His flashlight traced the curves, the chrome wheels, the pristine paint. Nice car for a doctor. His pause before doctor said everything. A second patrol car pulled up. Another officer emerged. Younger, blonde hair buzzed military short. His nameplate read Mitchell. What did we got, Derek? Suspicious vehicle. The driver claims she's a doctor. Derek's tone made it sound absurd, like she'd claimed to be royalty. Ryan Mitchell peered into the window, looked at Naomi, looked at the car, grinned. Sure she is. Which clinic does reception work at? Metropolitan Children's Hospital. Naomi kept her voice level. I'm the chief of pediatric surgery. Both officers burst into laughter. Chief of surgery! Ryan slapped the roof of her car. Derek, we got ourselves a CEO over here. Probably stole the car from the hospital parking lot. Derek leaned in closer. His breath smelled like coffee and cigarettes. Whose car is this, really? Mine. It's registered in my name. Right. Derek's voice dripped sarcasm. And you just happened to be driving through this neighborhood at night? I live 2 miles from here. I was coming home from work. From your job, as chief of surgery. Derek exchanged a look with Ryan. Are you shopping for houses to rob? Ryan laughed again. They always scope out the nice neighborhoods first. Naomi's jaw clenched. Stay calm. Don't react. Don't give them ammunition. Officers, if there's no violation, I'd like to continue home. We'll tell you when you can leave. Derek straightened up. Step out of the vehicle. What's the legal justification? Derek's face flushed red. The justification is, I said so. Officer, I know my Fourth Amendment rights. Oh, we got ourselves a lawyer now? Derek's voice rose. You think you're smart? You think you know the law? I'm simply asserting my constitutional rights. Ryan circled to the passenger side. Derek, she's being non-compliant. I can see that. Derek's hand moved to his baton. He tapped it against her door. Once, twice, 3 times. Each tap is louder. You've got 3 seconds to exit this vehicle. Naomi's heart was hammered, but her voice stayed steady. Without probable cause or reasonable suspicion, I'm not required. 1. The streetlight above them flickered. 2. Across the street, a porch light turned on. A door opened slightly. 3. Derek's hand shot through the window. His fingers wrapped around Naomi's throat, squeezed, hard. She gasped. Her hands flew to his wrist, clawing, pulling. His grip tightened like a vice. When a police officer gives you an order, you obey. Spit flew from his mouth. Naomi couldn't breathe. Black spots danced at the edges of her vision. Her nails dug into his skin. Let go. Derek released her throat just long enough to yank the door handle. It clicked open. He grabbed her arm and hauled her from the car. She stumbled. Her legs barely held her. Her throat burned like fire. Derek spun her around, slammed her against the hood. The metal was cold through her shirt. Her cheek pressed against the surface. Hands behind your back. You're hurting me. He wrenched her arms back. Handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Too tight. The metal bit into her skin. Please, the cuffs are too tight. You should have thought about that before you got uppity. Derek pushed her head down harder against the hood. More porch lights flickered on. Neighbors emerged, silhouettes on porches, phones rising, recording, always recording, never helping. Ryan opened her car door, began searching. Glove compartment, center console, under seats. He threw papers onto the street, emptied her purse, contents scattered across the asphalt. What are we looking for? Ryan called out. Drugs? Stolen goods? Anything! Derek kept Naomi pinned against the car. Ryan found her medical bag in the trunk. Unzip it. Surgical instruments gleamed under the streetlight. Scalpels, forceps, clamps. Derek, look at this! Derek dragged Naomi upright, forced her toward the trunk. What do we have here? Breaking and entering tools? Those are surgical instruments, Naomi said. Her voice was hoarse. Her throat throbbed. My hospital ID is in my wallet. Ryan dumped her wallet on the ground. Cards scattered. He picked up her hospital badge, studied it, then dropped it. Derek's boot came down, ground the ID card into the dirt. The plastic cracked. Oops, he smiled. Slipped. An elderly white woman called from across the street. Officers, I know Dr. Ellison. She lives down the street with her husband. She's not... Ma'am, step back or you'll be arrested for interfering with police business. Derek's voice was a threat. The woman retreated inside, but her phone stayed visible in the window, still recording. Derek forced Naomi to sit on the curb. Her hands were still cuffed behind her. The concrete was rough and cold. Let's see what else we can find. Ryan continued tearing through her car, ripped out floor mats, checked under the spare tire. A small crowd had gathered. 10 neighbors, maybe 12, all watching, all filming. No one intervened. Derek keyed his radio. Dispatch, requesting K-9 unit for drug search. You won't find anything, Naomi said quietly. That's what they all say. Derek crouched in front of her. His face was inches from hers. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to search your car. We're going to find whatever you're hiding. And then you're going to jail. I'm not hiding anything. Right. Because doctors drive around at night in stolen Mercedes. He stood up. You want to tell me the truth now? Whose car is it really? Whose house were you planning to hit? This is racial profiling. Derek's expression hardened. Now you're accusing me of racism. That's a serious allegation. It's the truth. He leaned down again. His voice dropped to a whisper only she could hear. Listen here, sweetheart. People like you don't belong in neighborhoods like this. People like you don't drive cars like this unless you stole it, or you're somebody's trophy wife. So which is it? Naomi looked directly into his eyes. People like me are your equals, and you can't stand it. Derek's jaw muscles jumped. He stood abruptly, turned to Ryan. She tried to grab my weapon when I approached the vehicle. You saw that, right? Ryan hesitated, just for a second, then nodded. Yeah, I saw it. No, I didn't. Naomi struggled against the cuffs. That's a complete lie. Derek spoke into his radio. Dispatch, suspect in custody. Charges are failure to comply with lawful orders, resisting arrest, and attempted disarming of a police officer. I never touched your weapon. This is a false arrest. And there's disorderly conduct. Derek smiled. You're racking up quite a list. The K9 unit arrived. A German shepherd bounded out. The handler walked the dog around Naomi's car, once, twice, 3 times. The dog sat, no alert. Search again, Derek ordered. The handler frowned. Derek, the dog didn't alert. The vehicle's clean. I said search again. The handler repeated the search. Same result. Nothing. Derek's frustration was visible now. His face was red, his movements jerky. Fine. We'll add obstruction of justice. She's clearly hiding something. Naomi's phone buzzed in the evidence bag on the ground. The screen lit up. James flashed across the display. Derek picked it up, answered with a mocking tone. Hello, this is Officer Thompson. Your girlfriend here is under arrest. A pause, then a man's voice. Firm, professional, cold. This is District Attorney James Ellison. Identify yourself and state your badge number. Derek's smirk faltered. District Attorney Ellison, sir. This is Officer Derek Thompson, badge number 4127. The woman you've arrested is my wife, Dr. Naomi Ellison. What are the charges? Sir, your wife was non-compliant during a routine traffic stop. What was the initial traffic violation? Derek's mouth opened, closed. She matched the description of a suspect in the area. What description? From what crime? I had reasonable suspicion that... What specific articulable facts gave you reasonable suspicion? Derek's hand tightened on the phone. Sir, with all due respect, I don't have to justify my actions to... Badge number 4127. I'll remember that. Put my wife on the phone. She's in custody. She'll get her phone call at the station. Derek hung up. Ryan stood frozen by the car. Derek, was that really the DA? Probably not. Anyone can claim that. But Derek's voice lacked conviction. He stared at Naomi. She stared back. Her expression was calm, almost pitying. You have no idea what you've just done, she said softly. Derek turned away, but his hands were shaking. Derek paced beside the patrol car. His boots scraped against asphalt. Ryan watched him nervously. Derek, maybe we should... Should what? Derek snapped. Let her go after she resisted arrest? She didn't really resist. She just asked questions. Questioning an officer is resisting. Derek's voice was tight. We did everything by the book. But his body cam sat dark on his chest. The little red light that should be blinking was dead. Convenient malfunction. 3rd one this month. Naomi remained on the curb. Her wrists bled where the cuffs cut into skin. She didn't cry, didn't beg, just sat there with her back straight, dignified even in handcuffs. That made Derek angrier. A young black man approached from down the street, 20-something, hoodie and jeans. He stopped at the police tape. Dr. Ellison, is that you? Naomi looked up. Recognition flashed in her eyes. Marcus? Oh my God, what are they? Derek stepped forward. Sir, back away from the scene. That's my doctor, She saved my little sister's life. Marcus pulled out his phone, started recording. Why is she in handcuffs? Final warning. Back away, or you're next. Marcus held his ground. This is public property. I have a right to record. You're interfering with an investigation. I'm standing on the sidewalk. Ryan moved toward Marcus, hand on his weapon. You need to leave, now. Marcus backed up, but kept filming. Everyone needs to see this. They got Dr. Ellison on the curb like a criminal. More neighbors emerged. A Hispanic couple, an elderly black man with a cane, a white woman with 2 kids who quickly ushered them back inside. Derek's radio crackled. Unit 40127, what's your status? He grabbed the radio. Situation under control. Suspect in custody. Waiting for transport. Copy that. Naomi's voice cut through the tension. Officer Thompson, I need medical attention. Derek turned. You're fine. I can't feel my hands. The cuffs are cutting off circulation. Should have complied from the start. I have the right to medical care while in custody. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. Derek, maybe we should loosen them a little. She's fine. Derek dismissed the suggestion with a wave. An older white couple approached. The man wore a cardigan, retirement age. His wife clutched his arm. Officers? The man's voice was gentle. We live next door to the Ellisons. That's Dr. Naomi Ellison. She's a surgeon. Her husband is the district attorney. Derek's stomach dropped, but he recovered quickly. Sir, I don't care if she's the Queen of England. She violated the law. What law did she violate? That's police business. We've been neighbors for 10 years, the wife added. She's never caused any trouble. This seems... Ma'am, please step back. Derek's voice was ice. The couple retreated, but the wife whispered loud enough to hear. Jim, get the number for James's office. Derek's jaw clenched. He pulled Ryan aside, spoke low, urgent. We need to get our story straight. What story? What happened? Happened. No. Derek gripped Ryan's shoulder. What happened is she tried to grab my weapon. That's felony assault on an officer. 3 to 5 years. Ryan's eyes widened. Derek, she never... You saw it. You were standing right there when she lunged for my holster. I don't know if... Listen to me. Derek's voice was steel. She gets a lawyer. This becomes a whole thing. He said her husband's the DA? So what? We're protected. Union. Qualified immunity. They can't touch us. But the recordings... Civilians always edit footage. Can't trust it. Our testimony is what matters. Derek's grip tightened. I need you with me on this. Brothers in blue, right? Ryan swallowed hard, nodded slowly. Right. Naomi watched them from the curb. She couldn't hear the words, but she read the body language. The conspiring. The lies being born. Derek keyed his radio again. Dispatch, add another charge. The suspect threatened officers with violence, hostile and combative. Copy. Additional charge logged. Naomi's eyes widened. That's a lie. I've been sitting here quietly. That's not what my report will say. Derek smiled. Cold. Cruel. Your word against 2 sworn officers. Who do you think they'll believe? A white teenager skateboarded past, stopped, pulled out his phone. Yo, is that Dr. E? She fixed my brother's heart. Kid, keep moving, Ryan warned. Nah, man, this is messed up. The teen started filming. Dr. E saved my family. Now she's sitting on the curb bleeding? Hell no. Last warning. The teen backed away on his skateboard, but his phone stayed up. Recording. Another witness, another camera. Derek felt the noose tightening. Too many eyes, too many phones, but he'd come too far to back down now. Ryan searched the car again. There's got to be something. Derek, we already... I said search again! Ryan returned to the Mercedes, tore through the glove compartment again, found insurance papers, registration, nothing illegal. He moved to the back seat, checked under the seats, found a hospital lanyard, an empty coffee cup, a medical journal, nothing. There's nothing here, Derek. Check the trunk again. We already checked the trunk. Do it! Ryan slammed the trunk open. The surgical bag sat exactly where they'd left it. He unzipped it again. The instruments gleamed, sterile, professional, legal. A red folder caught his eye. He pulled it out, flipped it open. His face went white. Derek. What? You need to see this. Derek walked over. Ryan showed him the folder. Inside were hospital credentials, board certifications, awards, a letter from the governor commending Dr. Naomi Ellison for her contributions to pediatric medicine, and a photo of her with the police chief at a charity fundraiser. Derek's hands started shaking. We're screwed, Ryan whispered. Shut up, just shut up. Derek's mind raced. Panic clawed at his chest. We stick to the story. She resisted. She was combative. We had no choice. Derek, there are 7 people filming us right now. I don't care. It's our word against theirs. A news van turned the corner. Channel 7. The white satellite dish rose from the roof like an antenna sensing blood. No, 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 no. Derek backed away from the camera. A reporter jumped out. Young, ambitious. The microphone is already hot. A cameraman followed with equipment. Officer, Melissa Torres, Channel 7 News. Can you comment on the arrest? No comment. This is an active scene. Is it true the woman in custody is Dr. Naomi Ellison? Derek's face went pale. I said no comment. Witnesses say she was assaulted during a traffic stop. Can you confirm? This interview is over. Derek moved to block the camera's view of Naomi. But Melissa was quick. She angled around him. The camera caught everything. Naomi on the curb, blood on her wrists. The bruises are already forming on her throat like purple fingerprints. Dr. Ellison, can you tell us what happened? Naomi looked directly into the camera. Her voice was clear, steady. I was pulled over without cause. I asked for the legal justification. Officer Thompson responded by choking me through my car window and fabricating charges. Turn that camera off! Derek lunged forward. Ryan intercepted him. Derek, don't! You'll make it worse! The cameraman kept rolling. Melissa kept talking. Dr. Ellison is chief of pediatric surgery at Metropolitan Children's Hospital. Her husband, James Ellison, is the district attorney currently prosecuting a major police corruption case involving multiple officers. Derek felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. Police corruption case. The one his union buddies had warned him about. The one taking down dirty cops across 3 precincts. The one everyone said would change everything. He'd just assaulted the prosecutor's wife. On camera, with witnesses, while his body cam was mysteriously off. His career wasn't just over. His life was over. More cars arrived, unmarked, government plates. Derek recognized the black SUV immediately. Internal Affairs. Captain Linda Martinez emerged. Hispanic, early 50s, steel in her spine. Behind her, a man in an expensive suit, tall, black, silver at his temples. His face was carved from fury barely contained. District Attorney James Ellison. Derek's bladder nearly released. James walked past Derek like he didn't exist. Knelt beside Naomi. His hands were gentle as he examined her face, her throat, her bleeding wrists. Baby. His voice cracked just slightly. I'm okay. But tears finally came. Not for Derek. For James, she let them fall. James carefully removed her handcuffs. The marks they left were deep, raw. He kissed each wrist gently, then helped her stand. Only then did he turn to Derek. The look in his eyes could freeze hell itself. James stood, 6 feet 2 inches of controlled rage. He didn't raise his voice. Didn't need to. Explain to me why my wife is bleeding. Derek's mouth opened. No words came out. Explain why a woman with no criminal record, no warrants, no traffic violations is handcuffed on a curb. Sir, she was non-compliant during a routine. What was the traffic violation? James's voice was surgical. Each word is cut clean. She matched a description. What description? From what crime? Derek's brain scrambled, searching for any answer that made sense. Suspicious vehicle in the area. Suspicious how? James stepped closer. A Mercedes in this neighborhood seemed suspicious? Or was it the driver? That's not what I meant. Then say it clearly. What made my wife suspicious? Derek's face flushed. His mouth worked silently. Captain Martinez stepped forward, held up Naomi's phone. This device recorded the entire encounter, audio and video. The color drained from Derek's face. Officer Thompson also reported his body cam malfunctioned. Martinez's smile was razor thin. Interesting timing. That's evidence tampering. Federal offense. Martinez turned to the crowd. Anyone who recorded this, please email footage to this address. She held up a card. Phones immediately moved. 7 different angles. 7 witnesses, all telling the same story. Derek watched his defense crumble in real time. Derek Thompson, Ryan Mitchell. Martinez pulled out handcuffs. You're both under immediate administrative suspension. Captain, please. Derek's voice cracked. Badges and weapons, now. Derek's hands shook as he unclipped his badge. 12 years of service. Gone. He'd sworn an oath on this badge. He'd just used it to terrorize an innocent woman. Ryan surrendered his badge next. Silent. Defeated. A paramedic examined Naomi's throat. The EMT gasped. Ma'am, these are serious. Manual strangulation marks. She photographed the injuries. Flash after flash. Evidence. Sir, she told James, this is felony assault. Derek felt his knees weaken. Felony assault. 3 to 5 years minimum. James made a phone call. His voice was ice. Chief? James Ellison. 2 of your officers just committed felony assault on my wife. Derek could hear yelling through the phone. No, not a misunderstanding. Strangulation, false arrest, evidence tampering, all on video. James listened. Then his voice dropped lower. I want them arrested tonight. Full charges. More yelling. I don't care about the union. I don't care about qualified immunity. James's jaw tightened. Then I'll call the FBI. Make this federal. Your choice. Silence. Then a resigned voice. James hung up, looked at Derek. The chief is sending units to arrest you both. Tonight. Please. Derek's voice broke. Please, I didn't know who she was. Naomi spoke, quiet but clear as a bell. And that's exactly the problem, Officer Thompson. Derek turned to her, desperation in his eyes. You thought you could do this because I was nobody important. Naomi stood straighter. Because I was just another black woman who needed to be put in her place. No, You didn't see a doctor, a surgeon, a member of this community. Her voice grew stronger. You saw my skin and decided I was a criminal. Derek opened his mouth. Nothing came. How many others weren't so lucky? How many others did you brutalize who had no voice, no camera, no DA husband? Derek's legs gave out. He sat on the curb. The same curb where he'd forced Naomi to sit. 2 patrol cars arrived. 4 officers emerged with handcuffs. Derek Thompson, stand up. You're under arrest. The cuffs clicked around his wrists. The same sound he'd made on countless others. Now it was his turn. You have the right to remain silent. The Miranda rights washed over him. Words he'd spoken 1,000 times. Now they were for him. Ryan was cuffed next, led to a separate car. He looked back at Derek once. This was your fault. Derek was pushed into the patrol car. Hard plastic seat. Uncomfortable. He'd laughed about that before. Not funny anymore. Through the window, he watched Naomi lean against James. Watched paramedics tend her injuries. Watched news cameras capturing everything. Melissa Torres broadcast live. Breaking news. 2 officers arrested after allegedly assaulting Dr. Naomi Ellison, wife of District Attorney James Ellison, during what witnesses describe as a racially motivated traffic stop. The car pulled away. Derek watched the scene recede. Watched his entire life disappear in flashing lights. In the other car, Ryan sobbed. His wife would see this. His kids would see him in handcuffs. Derek stared at his reflection in the partition glass. Saw a criminal. That's what he was now. A predator. The worst part? He'd done it to himself. The radio crackled. The national media is picking up the story. Expect press at the station. National media. His face is everywhere. His name is trending. His children were bullied. His wife was humiliated. All because he couldn't see a black woman as his equal. The car drove through the night. To book, to fingerprints, to a cell, to the same system he'd fed with arrests. Now he'd see it from the other side. Justice was coming for Derek Thompson. And it wouldn't be kind. The police station was chaos. Reporters lined the entrance. Cameras flashed like lightning. Questions shouted from every direction. "Officer Thompson, do you have a statement? Why did you assault Dr. Ellison? Was this racially motivated?" Derek kept his head down. Shame burned his face. The walk from the car to the building felt like miles. Inside, the booking room smelled like sweat and disinfectant. The fluorescent lights were too bright. Derek squinted against them. The booking officer was someone he knew. Officer Patterson. They'd worked together for years, played poker on Thursdays. Patterson wouldn't meet his eyes. "Name." "You know my name, Pat." "For the record, state your name." Derek swallowed. "Derek Michael Thompson." "Age?" 38. Patterson typed mechanically. No warmth, no recognition, just a procedure. "Charges are felony assault, civil rights violations, false imprisonment, and evidence tampering." Patterson's voice was flat. "You'll be held pending arraignment." "Pat, come on. We've been friends for—" "We're not friends." Patterson finally looked at him, disgust in his eyes. "Friends don't choke innocent people." Derek was fingerprinted. The ink was cold, sticky. Each fingerprint felt like signing his own death warrant. Mugshot next, front view, side view. The camera flash left spots in his vision. His wallet, keys, and belt were confiscated, placed in a plastic bag. Everything he did was reduced to items in evidence. A guard led him to a holding cell. The door clanged shut. Metal on metal. Final. Absolute. Derek sat on the concrete bench. The cell was small, 6 by 8 feet, walls covered in scratches, messages from previous occupants. The system's rigged. Cops are pigs. No justice. Now he was on this side of the bars. In another cell, Ryan sat with his head in his hands, still crying. His phone had rung 17 times before they confiscated it. His wife, calling, demanding answers. Derek's phone had rung too. His wife, Sarah. Their daughter, Emma. His son, Tyler. He couldn't face them. Couldn't explain. Couldn't say the words. I threw everything away because I couldn't control my racism. Hours passed. Morning came. Derek didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling, counting the water stains. 23 of them. His union rep arrived at 8 a.m., Larry Carter. Expensive suit. Tired eyes. He sat across from Derek in the interview room. "Derek, this is bad." "I know." "No, you don't." Larry opened his briefcase, pulled out a tablet. This is trending nationally, #2 on Twitter. Your face is everywhere. He showed Derek the screen. The video had 12 million views. Comments flooded below. Thousands calling for his head, his badge, his freedom. The union will provide a lawyer, Larry continued. But I'll be honest, your best option is a plea deal. A plea? I'm a cop. You'll be alive. Larry leaned forward. You go to trial with this evidence? 7 witness videos, the wife's recording. Your body came mysteriously off. You'll get 10 years, maybe 15, maybe. Derek's stomach churned. There's more. Larry pulled out a folder. Internal Affairs pulled your file. 15 complaints in 12 years, all from people of color, all dismissed or buried. Those were pattern of behavior. The DA will use every single one. They're reviewing every arrest you made in the past 5 years. Derek's head spun. Every arrest. Hundreds of cases. If they found problems, wrongful convictions, civil suits, your pension is gone, Larry said. Even if you take a plea, you'll be stripped of all benefits. My family should have thought about them before. Larry closed his briefcase. I'll have a lawyer contact you. In the meantime, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to anyone. Not other inmates, not guards, nobody. He left. The door closed. Derek was alone again. At Metropolitan Children's Hospital, Naomi sat in an examination room. A doctor checked her throat, shined a light, pressed gently. Significant bruising to the larynx. You're lucky there's no fracture. The doctor made notes. I'm ordering a CT scan to be safe. James stood in the corner, arms crossed, silent fury radiating from him. Naomi's colleague, Dr. Stevens, knocked and entered. He saw her injuries and went pale. Naomi, my God. I'm okay, David. No, you're not. Stevens looked at James. The hospital is issuing a statement. Full support. We're calling for a complete investigation. News vans surrounded the hospital. Channel 7, CNN, local affiliates, all wanting interviews, all wanting the story. Naomi's phone buzzed constantly. Colleagues, friends, former patients, the NAACP, civil rights organizations, everyone is offering support. Meanwhile, Derek's phone sat silent in an evidence bag. No calls, no messages, no support. His wife had already contacted a divorce attorney. His daughter had changed her social media name. His son refused to speak to him. Everything was gone. One night, one decision, one moment of unchecked hatred, and Derek Thompson's entire life had collapsed. Week 1. The firestorm. The video exploded across social media. 12 million views became 50 million, then 100 million. Nash justice for Dart. Ellison trended worldwide for 6 days straight. Cable news played the footage on loop. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, every angle, every moment. Derek's hand around Naomi's throat. Her calm assertion of rights. His rage. The New York Times ran a front-page story. When a badge becomes a weapon, Dr. Naomi Ellison's story exposes systemic racism. Civil rights organizations descended on Westchester County. The NAACP held a press conference. Reverend Al Sharpton flew in from New York City. This is not about one bad apple, Sharpton declared. This is about an orchard that grows poisoned fruit. The crowd roared. Hundreds gathered, signs waving. Black Lives Matter. Justice for Naomi. Fire racist cops. Inside the county jail, Derek watched through bars. Each story destroyed him further. Other inmates recognized him immediately. Cops in jail had targets on their backs. Yo, that's the pig who choked the doctor, someone called. Laughter echoed through the cell block. Derek pressed himself into the corner, trying to disappear. Week 3. The Grand Jury. The grand jury convened. 23 citizens. They would decide if charges were warranted. Special Prosecutor Margaret Carter presented the case. Asian American. Harvard Law. 20 years prosecuting civil rights violations. The evidence was overwhelming. 7 witness videos. Played in sequence. Each showing the same story. Naomi's audio recording. Crystal clear. Every racist word. Every threat. Every lie. Medical photographs. The bruises on her throat. Purple and yellow. Finger-shaped. Unmistakable. Derek's personnel file. 15 complaints. All from people of color. All dismissed. The pattern was undeniable. Former complainants testified. A black teenager. Derek had stopped 5 times in 2 months. Always for suspicious behavior. Always released without charges. A Hispanic man Derek had searched illegally. Found nothing. Car damaged. No compensation. An elderly black woman Derek had yelled at for jaywalking. She'd been crossing legally, with the light. Story after story. All the same theme. Derek Thompson targeted people of color. Naomi testified last. Poised, professional. She described the fear, the pain, the humiliation. I'm a surgeon. I save children's lives. But to Officer Thompson, I was just another black person who needed to be controlled. Her voice cracked once, when she described his hand around her throat. I couldn't breathe. I thought I might die, and all I could think was, my husband won't know what happened. Several jurors wiped their eyes. The grand jury deliberated 90 minutes. They returned with indictments. Derek Thompson, assault in the 2nd degree, civil rights violations, false imprisonment, evidence tampering, maximum 20 years. Ryan Mitchell, aiding and abetting assault, unlawful search, false statements, maximum 10 years. Both pleaded not guilty. Week 8. Trial preparation. Derek's legal team tried everything. Motions to suppress evidence, motions to change venue, motions to exclude prior complaints. Judge Patricia Reeves denied them all. Black woman, 60 years old, 30 years on the bench. The evidence is relevant. The jury will hear it. Derek's lawyer tried character assassination, dug into Naomi's past, looking for anything to discredit her. They found nothing. No arrests, no scandals, just a brilliant surgeon who saved children's lives. The defense leaked stories anyway. Anonymous sources claiming Naomi was difficult, demanding, arrogant. The strategy backfired. Colleagues flooded social media defending her. Former patients' families created videos. Dr. Ellison saved my daughter. She gave us hope. Meanwhile, Derek's past continued unraveling. A former girlfriend came forward, described racist comments, jokes about black people. His high school yearbook surfaced online. Derek, at 16, Confederate flag on his bedroom wall. Every revelation made his defense weaker. Week 11. The trial. Opening statements began on a Monday. The courthouse was packed. Media, activists, citizens. Every seat filled. Prosecutor Carter stood before the jury. 7 white, 3 black, 2 Hispanics. She made eye contact with each one. This case is about power. Officer Derek Thompson had a badge, a gun, authority, and he used that power to terrorize an innocent woman because of her skin color. She walked slowly. Let the words sink in. The defense will say this was a misunderstanding, that Officer Thompson feared for his safety. But ask yourselves, what threat did Dr. Naomi Ellison pose? Sitting in her car, hands visible, voice calm, asserting her rights. Chen paused. The only threat Dr. Ellison posed was to Officer Thompson's belief that he could treat black people however he wanted without consequence. Derek's lawyer countered, painted Derek as dedicated, 12 years of service, community volunteer, Little League coach. Officer Thompson made a mistake, but it wasn't racially motivated. It was a high-stress situation that escalated. The jury looked skeptical. Witness testimony began. Neighbors described what they saw: the choking, the violence, the casual cruelty. The EMT testified about Naomi's injuries. This was textbook manual strangulation. He meant to hurt her. Former complainants took the stand, one after another, each describing similar encounters: racial slurs, assumptions, abuse of power. The pattern was unmistakable. Naomi testified on day 7. Navy suit, pearl earrings, professional, composed. She described the entire encounter. Her voice never wavered. Her facts never changed. The defense attorney cross-examined aggressively, tried to rattle her, tried to find inconsistencies. There were none. Dr. Ellison, isn't it true you refused a lawful order? It wasn't lawful. Officer Thompson had no probable cause. How do you know? Are you a lawyer? No, but I know the Constitution. Every American should. The jury nodded. Derek took the stand against his lawyer's advice, defensive, angry, unable to hide his contempt. Dr. Ellison was non-compliant, he insisted. She asked for legal justification, Carter countered. That's not non-compliance. That's exercising her rights. She should have just obeyed. Because she was black? That's not what I said. But it's what you meant. Derek's face reddened, his jaw clenched. The jury saw the rage. The hatred was barely contained. Chen pressed further. Officer Thompson, how many white people have you choked during traffic stops? Silence. How many white people have you thrown against their cars? More silence. Derek's lawyer objected. Judge Reeves overruled. Answer the question. I don't recall. You don't recall? Or the answer is 0. Derek looked at the floor. I treat everyone the same. The evidence says otherwise. Closing arguments followed. Carter dismantled every defense claim, showed the pattern, showed hatred. Derek Thompson thought his badge made him untouchable. Today you prove him wrong. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. They returned with a verdict. Guilty. On all counts. Derek collapsed in his chair. His lawyer grabbed his arm, held him upright. Ryan Mitchell's trial lasted 3 days. Same result. Guilty. 2 weeks later. Sentencing. Judge Reeves sat elevated. Her expression was stone. Derek Thompson, stand. Derek rose. His legs shook. His orange jumpsuit hung loose. He'd lost 20 pounds. You were given a badge and the public's trust. You betrayed both. Judge Reeves's voice was cold. Your actions weren't a mistake. They were a choice rooted in racism and abuse of power. She paused. Let the words hang. I sentence you to 5 years in state prison. Federal civil rights violation. 3 years concurrent. Lifetime ban from law enforcement. $250,000 fine. Mandatory counseling upon release. Derek's mother sobbed in the gallery. His ex-wife sat stone-faced. His children weren't there. Ryan Mitchell, stand. Ryan rose, face pale, hands trembling. You enabled this abuse. You stood by while an innocent woman was terrorized. You corroborated lies. Judge Reeves leaned forward. 2 years in prison. 5 years probation. Community service. Lifetime ban from law enforcement. Ryan nodded mutely. Both of you reinforced the very real fear people of color feel during police encounters. You betrayed your oath, and you'll live with that forever. The gavel came down. Final. Absolute. Derek was led away in chains. He looked back once. Saw Naomi sitting beside James. Saw her strength, her dignity, everything he'd tried to break, and failed. 6 months later, the police department had a new sign. Community accountability matters. Deputy Chief Linda Martinez had ordered it installed on her first day. Every officer now wore body cams. Activation was mandatory. Failure meant immediate suspension. No exceptions. A civilian review board met weekly. Real power, real oversight. Citizens filed complaints directly. Every case is investigated. Every pattern is tracked. 23 of Derek's past arrests were overturned. People walked free. Some had served years for crimes they didn't commit. Records cleared, lives restored. Derek Thompson sat in his cell at Sing Sing. His cellmate was a man Derek had arrested 4 years ago. The irony wasn't lost on either of them. "Funny how the world turns," the cellmate said. Derek said nothing. Cops in prison didn't last long if they talked. His ex-wife had remarried. His daughter Emma changed her last name, refused all contact. His son Tyler visited once. 10 minutes, mostly silence. Tyler left in tears. Never came back. Derek had written letters. Apologies. Naomi never responded. He didn't blame her. At night, Derek replayed that moment. His hand through the window. Her throat in his grip. The power he'd felt. He wished he could take it back, but wishing changed nothing. Ryan Mitchell worked at a car wash. Minimum wage. Parole visits monthly. Community service every weekend. His wife stayed. Barely. Their marriage fractured. Trust gone. But she stayed for the kids. The video still circulated online. His face is forever linked to that night. To that choice. Naomi's new purpose. Metropolitan Children's Hospital held a ceremony. The Naomi Ellison Center for Healthcare Equity, funded by her settlement. Every dollar donated. The center provided free legal representation, police misconduct cases, civil rights violations, abuse of power. Naomi stood at the podium. The room was packed. Colleagues, patients, community leaders. James in the front row. "I was lucky," Naomi began. "I had education, wealth, a husband with power. Most people don't." She paused. Let the truth settle. Derek Thompson represents a system that protects the wrong people, a system that punishes those who demand better. Applause erupted. "This center isn't about me. It's about everyone who had no voice, no camera, no platform. Everyone was told to just comply, to accept injustice." Her eyes swept the room. "We say no more. Justice isn't a privilege, it's right." Standing ovation. James's chest swelled with pride. Naomi continued saving children at the hospital, teaching residents, living with purpose. She testified before the state legislature. 3 police accountability bills passed. Real reform. Real change. She gave a TED Talk. "The day I became a hashtag." 15 million views. Stories flooded in. Similar encounters. Gratitude for her courage. But Naomi was clear. "I'm not special. I'm just the one who had the power to fight back. That shouldn't be required for justice." James won re-election as district attorney. Landslide victory. His corruption case resulted in 12 convictions. The department cleaned. Not perfect, but better. Together they pushed statewide legislation. Body cameras, civilian oversight, officer databases, slow progress. But progress. The documentary 1 year later, a documentary crew interviewed Naomi. Badge and Burden. The Naomi Ellison story. The interviewer asked the final question. "What do you want people to take from your experience?" Naomi thought carefully. "Justice shouldn't depend on who you know, your education, your connections. Derek Thompson is in prison because I had power. But how many others didn't?" She leaned forward. "How many black people are in jail because an officer decided they were suspicious? How many had no camera, no witness, no DA husband?" Her voice intensified. "Derek Thompson isn't unique. He's a symptom. The disease is systemic racism. Until we cure the disease, treating symptoms won't be enough." What's your message to people watching? Don't look away. Don't scroll past. Speak up. Record, intervene safely, support reform, vote for accountability. Naomi locked eyes with the camera. Silence protects the Derek Thompsons of the world, and there are more of them than we want to believe. Call to action. If this story moved you, share it. Tag someone who needs to see it. Hit subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories where justice prevails. Follow for updates on police reform. Resources on your rights. Stories that matter. Ask yourself, what will you do next time you witness injustice? Will you record, speak up, intervene, or look away? The final question. Here's what should keep us awake at night. If Naomi wasn't married to the district attorney, if she was just another black woman driving home from work, would Derek Thompson be in prison today? Or would he still be out there, badge on chest, gun on hip, looking for his next victim? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's have the conversation this country needs. Justice delayed is justice denied. But justice achieved? That's a story worth sharing. Share this video. Let the Derek Thompsons know. We're watching. We're recording. We won't stay silent. See you in the next one.
The story you heard today wasn't cleaned up. It was told exactly as it happened. At Black Voices Uncut, we believe that's the only way truth can live. If you felt something, hit like, comment, and your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices that refuse to be silenced.